All right, happy Friday, everybody. That means it's a Friday night frenzy, right, Tim?
Yep, Friday Night Frenzy,
To this time for basketball.
basketball, boys. Girls
Boys.
start Monday. Boys get front and center tonight at 11:15. Not a lot of great games tonight, frankly. You get mostly non-conference games, but if high school hoops is your thing, 11:15 is where it's at. The big deal tonight on TV is the Pac-12 championship game from Vegas, Oregon and Washington. That's the biggie tonight, my opinion.
So, but with high school basketball, I know it's early, very early, but are there any teams that we should be keeping our eye on?
East Lansing boys and Lansing Catholic girls.
Okay.
The Lansing Catholic girls have 9 players back from their state title-winning team last spring. And the East Lansing boys got some new additions. They have Kelvin Torbert's son. He played at Michigan State. His son, KJ, played at Okemos last year. Then he went into the transfer portal, so he's at East Lansing this season.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
And that's actually one of our matchups with the game of the week, right?
Catholic and East Lansing tonight. And Catholic's going to have to play a lot better than it did, losing by 40 to Okemos earlier this week. Either Okemos is a lot better than we thought, or Catholic's going to have to get better as the season goes along, because East Lansing would appear to be better than Okemos. But it's opening week, so
It is.
we'll see what's accurate and what isn't.
Joey Ellis will be live at 5:30 from Lansing Catholic for that game of the week as well. Another thing that happened while I was off and you were free from all of this and very happy about it, the Lions-Broncos game got moved to primetime. What do you think led up to that decision?
Who do I think what?
What do you think led up to the decision to move?
I don't know, but I don't think Michigan State's basketball people are happy, because that was their own downtown Detroit event with Baylor at 8. Now it'll take second fiddle if you can even get to Little Caesars Arena, because the Lions got moved to 8:15 with Denver. So that crowd will make life difficult if you're trying to get there. And the Michigan State Baylor game, which was designed as a big event for Little Caesars Arena in Detroit,
Right.
it's a JV game now behind the Lions.
I mean, people at Little Caesars Arena probably not happy either then.
I mean, it'll be congested as it is during Christmas season down there
It
on a
is.
Saturday night in the middle of downtown Detroit in the Christmas season. But it's a competitive world, and the Lions, have had a season where they're popular. I haven't seen Izzo's reaction to it yet, but he can't be happy.
We should really find out.
Pardon?
We should really find out Izzo's reaction to that.
I already know. He's not going to be happy.
Well, so with it being moved, is this like you said they're doing really good this year? Is this put up or shut up time for the Lions?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Because there's some questions
I never,
about them.
ever, one time, thought these guys were what the public or the media thought. Because the moment they have a good game, which they did in the first game, they won by a point at Kansas City. Good for them.
Yeah.
All right, good for them.
At Kansas City.
But then, I mean, typical sports fans and media around here put them in the Super Bowl. I mean, if you've watched them play the last 2 weeks at home, in my opinion, they'll do well if they win one playoff game. That'll be at home, because they're going to back into the NFC North title, because the Vikings lost the other night again. So they've got 3 losses behind Detroit. And while I don't think Detroit's got a tough schedule left, they got 6
They
games,
do.
4 on the road. The 2 home games are Minnesota and Denver. To me, of the 6 games they have left, they have no lock wins. That doesn't mean they won't win. They could win it. They have no lock losses. Well, I think Dallas.
That Dallas game.
Dallas is going to be tough. But
Dallas is going to be real tough in Dallas.
and tell your boy Goff he better play better
Why
going
is he my
forward,
boy?
because you're kind of a typical fan. The moment there's just a smidgen of light at the end of the tunnel.
I have wanted a little bit of light for almost 40 years.
That's my point. But there's what you're hoping for and what's reality. Now, they're a 4.5-point favorite at New Orleans Sunday.
Yes.
I guess I like the Lions.
How so? Like just because of the way New Orleans has been this
Oh,
year?
I think they've had 10 days to relax.
True.
I mean, they'll have a sense of resolve. They played reasonably well against the Chargers, although I think defensively, they're nowhere near the best team in the NFL defensively. And that said, if Goff is off, no pun intended, if Goff is off, which he's been off the last 2 weeks, I'm wondering if he's beat up a little bit. But if he is, he's had 10 days now. And there's no weather there. That's indoors like
Indoors.
Ford Field.
Yep.
New Orleans is playing for something, so that's an issue there. If they lose this game to fall to 8-4, I mean, I guess that's not good if you're a
No,
Lions fan.
You're right. That's not good. Speaking of college, we've been talking a lot about Michigan's win over Ohio State, Michigan State's new football coach, but I want to show a little bit of love to some of our D2 and D3 teams. Both Grand Valley State and Alma College had great comeback wins and are now playing tomorrow for their division playoffs.
Good for them.
Very good for them. Grand Valley and the Pittsburgh State, which is out of Kansas.
I'd rather have Kansas State out of Pittsburgh and see if anybody notices the difference.
I was looking it up and then I realized that their mascot is the Gorillas.
Well, what? It's Cortland State of New York.
Yes.
How are they getting here? Is that a long bus ride? Did they get horse and wagon? I mean, how does Division III Cortland State, New York? How do they get?
They got to
here?
come to Alma.
By the way, tell them to bring their Snuggies because it looks like it might be a nasty day.
And Grand Valley has to play in Arkansas
Well,
tomorrow.
it ought to be a little bit better, I would
Yeah.
think. How did they, I don't know. I wonder how those teams get there. Do they get to? I mean, I would think they'd get an airplane ride, but I don't know that.
No.
I don't know that. I hope they both win.
And we will keep you updated on that, of course. And then right before you came over here, another Michigan State University football player announced he is entering the portal.
Zion Young's a defensive end. Let me tell you something. You better put name tags on the back of those jerseys, not for the fans next fall, so all the players know who they are and the coaches. I claim that there will be a higher percentage of new players from opening day this last fall against Central Michigan to next August 31st against Florida Atlantic than in the history of Michigan State.
Really?
Of the 22 starters next fall, I'm guessing there are 12 who don't even know they're on the Michigan State team yet. They don't even know they're on the team yet
What team?
because they'll be in the portal.
Yeah.
And they don't know where they're going. State will pick them off. They don't even know they're starting for State next August 31st.
Do you remember a time like this
No.
in Michigan State football?
No, because the portal hasn't been what it is now.
Right.
And they had a season where apparently they don't think there's a lot of excitement moving forward. You get a new coach, but they've seen who's on the field. So these guys are all long gone. Three quarterback. I mean, they're 4-8, so it can't be much worse than that with whoever they bring in. Because the guys they had, they were 4-8. But you're going to see a lot of. I mean, it is going to be. I'm wondering if the colors will still be green and white.
Okay,
Maybe the
that's
color.
not
Maybe the
changing.
colors will go into the portal the way things are going.
I don't think that'll ever change.
Well, they didn't wear green and white for every game.
True. So what do you think Coach Smith has to do to make it more
Get
appealing for?
Get better players.
But how do you do that?
Pay them, which they probably can't do, because it's the new world that we live in. Pay them, which I don't know how much money they have. How high does he want to shoot? Does he want to shoot for the best players available? Okay. Those best players available are probably getting offers from other big schools.
Right.
So then it comes down to the player and his parents saying, all right, why should I go to you over those three? And then it gets down. I mean, do I think it's a shame? Yeah. It isn't what I grew up with. It isn't the way it was originally intended to be. But to me, it's more professional, more free agent than the pros today, because you have more freedom as a college athlete than you do as a pro athlete. Pro athlete's got a contract, and a pro athlete is restricted from free agency for a few years. Colleges aren't. Mm-hmm. You can sign right out of high school for whatever money you can figure out you can get. And if you don't like the guy for an hour, and you can go right into the portal and go find somebody else that'll deal with you. Now, there are some that are going to be in the portal that are staying there. It'll be an abyss, which they can't climb out of. They're not all five
It's the risk you take.
Yeah.
It's the risk you take when you enter the portal. Also, while I was off, and I know I'm better at hockey than you, but what are your thoughts on Patrick Kane signing with the Red Wings?
I got to see him play. I listened to Heiserman last night between periods. If he plays like he has at times in the past, well, then that's a good addition. If he doesn't, and the Blackhawks didn't think he would because of his injuries, listening to him last night, or yesterday, Kane. I mean, obviously he's enthused to play. I mean, if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. All right.
It's a 1-year deal.
Well, it's less than that. It's a
Yeah.
deal to the end of this season. I don't think they would sign him unless they thought they had a reasonable shot. They're better than they were a year ago. There's no question.
Without
about
doubt.
it. Or
Without
either
a
that,
doubt.
or the Blackhawks are a lot worse.
That too, actually.
That's Connor Bedard.
It's
They
both.
they need about 20 of him.
Oof.
I mean, with
Blackhawks
no
have-
Larkin last night, they beat him 5-1.
Yeah, and we now know why Larkin's been
Right.
out. But I mean, Blackhawks have their own bucket of problems going on right now that we don't even want to touch.
Told the late great Bobby Hull they can use him again right now.
All right, so what's coming up on the News 10 Sports
Well,
desk?
your school, we're previewing Michigan, Iowa.
Okay.
The biggest part of the game tomorrow night is not the game, it's the post game. Because that commissioner will have to be on the podium with a trophy. Does he give it to Harbaugh? And what does Harbaugh say, if anything? Or what's his reaction? I mean, something tells me it's they won't be seeing each other at the Christmas party in a couple of weeks. And I'm not convinced Harbaugh will be there to take it. He may send his players.
Okay.
He may let his players do
Or
it.
more, maybe.
Pardon?
Maybe. You might have Coach Moore go out there.
I don't know, but I think the Big Ten is rooting upon hope that Iowa can somehow beat your beloved Blue tomorrow night.
So I did read Cade McNamara is now on Iowa. He's not playing because of an injury, but he's been talking.
He's better injured than the guy they got playing now. Trust me. He's better if he was out there with crutches, he'd be better than the guy they got now. They'll never score on Michigan. They'll just never score.
Iowa's put out some really good players lately, so I don't know.
Not on offense.
Couple. Laporta.
Well, he's with the Lions.
Well, yeah, but when he was with Iowa, he was really good.
Well, he was a hidden gem because they never threw it to him, and the Lions figured, gee, if you throw it to that guy, maybe because they've had a lot of tight ends there. But
Yeah.
I don't know if the guy's any good this year. They never throw it to him. So if the quarterback for Iowa tonight throws a spiral, tomorrow night, if he throws a spiral, that's going to be an upgrade for them.
All right.
Spiral.
Watch party at my house. We'll see you later. Have a great weekend, everybody.